Hey, what's up guys? This is Jeremiah Derby here, and I'm also known as Batman JPD on YouTube. Alright, so today we're going to be doing a tutorial, and this is going to be on how to make Lego mouths move, and lip sync, all that stuff. And so what program we're going to be using is, I use a program called Animate Studio, and there's bunch of different versions out there now. I think I'm using like Animate Studio Debut 8 or so. I don't know how many there are. There's like 10 of them. So this is one of the ways. There are multiple ways that you can do it. This is my way. I use this program. I've seen other people use Adobe After Effects, and I've seen other people use I've seen people just make the mouse themselves, like physically make it out of paper and just stick it on. So what we're first going to do is you open up Animate Studio Debut, then you make a new file, and what I'm going to be using here is I'm in my content library. You can do that by just right here clicking the library button right here, and what I'm going to do is I've already created a mouse set from my last animation that I did. So let's go over here to props, I believe is where it is. Yep. And right here you go to head mouse sets, click that, and then I have a Lego mouse set right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click add prop to my canvas, my stage right here, and now you can see it's in my layers right here. And all this is a switch folder right here. If I go to this, I can go to the properties and show you that it's a switch folder, and we're gonna mess with this a little bit in just a second, but let me go back out of here, and you can see this is just the rest mouth. There's different mouths in here: F, V, U, W, O, I, E, L, T, A. And what I can do, what the beauty of this library is that I can add more phenomes and more different mouth shapes if I need to, and it'll just all be in here already for me. So I've already imported the audio for what I'm going to be using. This is going to be the audio from episode 1, scene 15 of the Lego Batman series, which I'm currently working on. But one thing we're going to have to do before we do this is I need to make a new layer right here. Go to this little icon right here. It says new layer, and then I'm going to make a vector layer right here, and I'm just going to name this green screen right here. Okay, so I'm going to name it green screen, and then I'm going to go over here to my draw shape tool, and I'm going to draw a shape, preferably you can pick any color, because we're going to be chroma keying out mouths later. There we go. Alright, now we've got a green background right here. So now that means when we export this, that it'll have a green background, so we can chroma key it out. Right here we've got our timeline down here. This is the timeline for Animate Studio. And if I go here, I can only see that if I play it, my audio plays.
Don't you guys never get tired? Angus, ain't you never heard?
But it only goes for 240 frames, and that's not much. As you can see, it stops right here, and there's a whole bunch more dialogue on here. And unfortunately, Animate Studio Debut can only go to 3,000 frames. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change this number 240 to 3,000, and it might not get all of your animation. It probably won't get all the voiceover, but if it does, you know, good. But if it doesn't, what I do is I just go into my audio editing program Audacity, and I will cut to where what I got to with the mouth animation, and then I'll do the rest of the part. Now what we're going to get into is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how you can actually animate this. So when animating this, I like to go one character at a time, and so let's go ahead and change this name to the name of the character, which is Angus. It's a weird name, but that's his name, so we're gonna go ahead and change that. Also, I'm gonna resize this a little bit, make it a little bit smaller, because I'm gonna have other people talking on here. I don't want it to take up too much space. I just want enough that it won't go off the screen, but I can also fit other people on here. So that's big enough for me. So what we're going to do now is, this is a switch layer. Remember that this is a switch layer. This isn't a regular layer. This is a switch folder. And when I put these all in here, that means that I can animate these. I can change which layer shows. So that's important, because what I'm going to do here is I go to my tools and I go to special right here where it says switch layer. Click that, and then I go to right here where it says active child. Basically it means active layer. I can click right here, and we want it to be rest because we don't want him talking yet. Now we go to wherever the audio, we can scrub through here. So what he's saying is, don't use guys never get tired. So he'd probably have his mouth, if we go through here, let's go and let's see here. Yep, that's good right there. So he's opening his mouth right there, and then he's saying D, don't. So I'm gonna go ahead, I use them, you know, you can't put every single letter up here. I mean, you could, but it's easier just to kind of use some for, you know, like a group of letters. So don't, so he's gonna say O right here. I go up here, click the O, and he's going back to a T right here, don't, and then he's going to an O right here. So he's like, don't use guys, use don't use, okay, alright, so I can do that. There we go, guys. Alright, almost there. Nah. So there's an E sound right there. I'm gonna change that. And you can also toggle back and forth. It makes it quicker if you toggle back and forth with your arrow keys. So now if we go back and we play through,
don't use gas, never get tired.
it's a little, audio's a little bit off because it's lagging a little bit because of the stream, but
don't use gas, never get tired.
it looks a lot better.
Don't use gas, never get tired.
Yeah, it's lagging a little bit because of the recording. The OBS program's taking up a lot of whatever you call it, a lot of bandwidth. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and animate the rest of this file, and I'm gonna skip ahead, and by the time you see what's next, it's gonna be me in Adobe Premiere, and I'm gonna show you how you can place the mouse on the actual character in footage, because that's another big part, and you gotta make it look believable and look real. So I'll show you that. Let's head on over right now. Alright guys, so we're in Adobe Premiere here, and I've already animated some of the mouse, and now I've got the files imported into Adobe Premiere, as you can see here, and I've gone ahead and lined up some of the, synced up some of the audio. Alright, one thing I want to tell you about real quick is about if you're using Animate Studio, that when you export your animations, you need to make sure that you don't export them through the Animate Studio, like through the program, because it will take forever and their exporter is not very good, and you can only export in AVI. So what I do is I just use my screen capture program OBS to screen capture it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click the the layer that I'm working on, and I'm going to go ahead and go into the effects panel right here. And the first thing we need to do is get rid of this green screen. So what we do is type in color key, and you should have this pop up down here. Double click that and it will pop up in your effects panel up here. And what I'm going to do is grab this eyedropper tool, go over to the layer that I'm working on, click the color that I want to get rid of, and then start turning up the color tolerance until I get to where I want. Okay, so one last thing we want to do is go over to, we're already in our effects panel. We want to add a crop to the layer. So we go in here and we're going to go to crop, and we're going to crop this out to where we can just see the mouth, because I've also, you just want it, it makes it easier to work with if you just crop this down. Also, if you got other mouths and you don't want them showing up while you're animating, it's good to crop those out. Okay, so now that we've cropped that down, let's go ahead and I'm going to zoom in here a little bit on the timeline down here. And we're going to go into this layer, and we're going to go ahead and go up to where it says motion. And let's go to the first frame. So let me see who's talking real quick.
Angus, ain't you never heard that exercise makes...
Alright, so this guy right here is going to be talking. He's going to be the one moving his mouse. So I'm going to take this. Let's zoom in just a little bit more. And right here we're going to go over. I'm going to shrink this down. You can also zoom in here, right here. We'll zoom in 150%. Go up here and put that there. Shrink it down till we can get the right size. So now that I've got it down to the size that I want, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click toggle animation on position and on scale. Okay. Also, if you need to, you can put it on rotation too. Alright, so now that I've animated that, I want to show you guys something real quick that's going to help you animate this a little bit better. And what we're going to do is we're going to select all of these, right click on it, go to temporal interpolation, and press hold. Now this is going to turn all these into hold keyframes, and you'll see that these little things like keyframes change into a different symbol. This just means that it's going to hold the keyframe so it won't move until the next frame. You can see we want to move his mouth here. He moves a little bit, so we're going to move his mouth just a little bit. Right there. Good. All that looks good for me. Right here I wanted to move that up a little bit. And this is basically the process now, is going in and animating the character. So let me finish this and we'll see how it looks. Let's go, we're just going to finish this sentence. And then we'll check it out and see how it looks. Alright, so we've gone in, we've animated, and before I play it back, I want to add a little effect that will help make it look a little bit more like it's actually in the scene, make the mouth look like it's actually on the character. And that is, let's save real quick, it's going to auto save. Come on. Alright, so we go in here, we go to effects, and we type in blur, and we're just going to add a little bit of a blur to the mouth. So that looks a little bit more real. We're going to use a Gaussian blur. So let's click that, and we're just going to turn it up. Not too much. It's probably too much. Let's just go 13. 13 is just a little bit, just enough to not too noticeable, but just the little details that help. So if we go back and let's zoom out of this and we play this, let's go back and play.
Angus, ain't you never heard that exercise makes you live longer?
It's a little bit laggy because I'm running OBS.
Angus, ain't you never heard that exercise makes you live longer?
But as you can see, it looks pretty good. Besides that, it's lagging a little bit because of Premiere, but otherwise it does look pretty good. It's moving with the character, and that's what we want. We want it to look like it's moving with the character. So yeah, that's basically it for this tutorial, guys. That's all you do. It is a long process, of course I gotta go in. I'm gonna go in and animate the rest of this behind the scenes, but I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, guys. Hope you learned something. I did a tutorial a long time ago on lip syncing, and I used Animate Studio, but it wasn't a good tutorial. The audio was all messed up, and I felt like I needed to redeem myself and do a better one, because I knew I could do a better one. So hopefully this one was better, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something from it. Also, please remember to subscribe, like, and share. And if you like these tutorials, let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys later.